All right. Hello. How y'all doing today? I came out here to ask you guys, are you operating a business or is it a hobby or a hustle? Which one is it? Why do I ask? I'm so glad you want to know why I'm asking you that question. That's an odd question to ask somebody, right? That call themselves operating a business. Well, there is a difference from the IRS perspective. And I want you guys to be aware of how the IRS looks at your business and whether or not it may or may not be a hobby. Because what I don't want to happen is for you to be running a so called business and then only to find out at an inopportune time that the IRS is going to reclassify what you're considering a business as a hobby. And there's a couple of key elements that the IRS looks at to determine whether or not your business is a hobby. Okay? Because one thing about it's a few people in life you really don't want to mess with. And the IRS is one of them. The federal government, because they have the power to go into your bank account without your permission. They have the power, all right, to tap that check without your permission. They have the power to put a lien on your home without your permission. They might need to notify you or send a letter, and you know what I'm saying, before they do it. But by the time you don't even open your mail, you're not, especially if it's something coming from the IRS, you don't want to see it. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to do better. You need to do better. You need to pay a little bit more attention to the IRS because I'm not going to get off topic, but you know, there's this thing called the Inflation Reduction Act. And in the Inflation Reduction Act, one of the things that they're doing or that they're funding this Inflation Reduction Act for is so that they can hire more IRS representatives. And so you already kind of have this fear looming over, you know, this cloud looming over you about the IRS. And so you don't want to exacerbate that fear or the problem that you have, your issue that you have with the IRS by not doing the right thing. Okay, so I'm here to educate you. I want to let you know a couple of the things, like the IRS code is so complex. It's very complex, and it's so complex that a lot of people don't even like to try to spend the time to understand and know it. There is no one size fit all kind of a situation when it comes to the IRS. So all of this information, and even the information that I'm bringing to you today, is not a one size fit all. Is not specific tax advice for your situation, because I don't even know what your situation is, but I know what I see happening on a regular and consistent basis. And because of that, I'm bringing this information to you to educate you, to get your wheels to spin, and to get you to thinking about what you're doing and how you're doing it so that you can make some informed decisions. But one thing I do want to let you all know is that when it comes to a hobby, one of the differences between hobby versus business income and expenses is that when it comes to a hobby, all your hobby income is taxable. The IRS expects you to report income from all sources, including a hobby, if you have a hobby and you're making income from it. However, your expenses that you may have spent, the money that you may have spent pursuant to this hobby or pursuant to you being able to generate the income that you might have generated for your hobby, is only deductible to the extent of your income. Kind of like the lottery. You know how the lottery situation works, where you play the lottery. If you win, you can only deduct your winnings to the extent that you lost, which is why you need to keep up with all of your receipts and everything. Well, it's similar like that with hobby income, that you can only write off the amount of expenses that you had pursuant to the income that you received. So in essence, you can't take a loss, or you can't claim a loss, or you can't offset the loss from hobby income against any other income the way that you can with a business. Okay, that's the difference. And when it comes to the IRS making a determination as to whether your activity is a business or a hobby, I want to go over three key things that to, to kind of just generate some thought to get your wheels spinning to make sure that you're dotting all of your I's, you're crossing all of your T's, and you're very clear about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and when you're doing it. So one of the first things, because there's a thin line when it comes to making the determination between hobby versus business, because a lot of people, we're in business, we follow our passion, right? We're in business. When you're in business, you are in pursuit of a profit. A hobby is something that you do because it's something that you simply love. And that's where the thin line is drawn, because a lot of people do things that they love, but they're also in pursuit of a profit. They've turned the thing that they are passionate about into a business. And so that is a legitimate thing that you can do, but depending upon how you're operating in that activity, how you're operating in your gifting, will make a determination whether the IRS sees your activity as a business or a hobby. And one of the main things is that are you conducting your activity like a business? Business owners do their books. They have their books in order. Business owners maintain adequate books and records. Business owners have separate bank accounts for the business. They're not commingling funds. So if you haven't set up a bookkeeping system and you're just, taking notes on a piece of paper, you writing it in a planner, or you just going off of your bank statements to determine how much income you made, that's not going to be enough. And to even go a step beyond that, if you're even if you do have a business bank account, but you're still running personal expenses through your business bank account, or you're running business expenses through your personal bank account, that's a recipe for disaster. And that's a recipe for the IRS to see that you're not really serious about what you're doing. You're not taking it very seriously, and they will, depending on all of the facts and circumstances, they may disallow your deductions that you've taken over beyond your expenses, beyond your income, because you're not operating a legitimate business. All right, the second thing that you have to ask yourself is the activity your main source of income? Is that what you're doing for a living? Or is this just, a side hustle? Is this just some extra money that you're making on the side so that you can get your hair and nails done, so that you can go hang out, or so that you can go on vacation? Is this just extra money? Or is this you're in pursuit of a profit? Again, to go back to that intent of a business, you have to keep in mind that you're in pursuit of a profit. And are you running your business like that? Is that your main source of income? Like, are you doing it part-time? Are you doing it full-time? Are you doing it, quasi-time? I know for myself, for a long time, for the first 7 years of my business, I was what I call a corporatepreneur. Okay. So I worked a full-time job and I ran my business on the evenings and weekends. But at the same time, I still was set up as a business. I still was in pursuit of a profit. I wasn't playing around. It wasn't something, even though I enjoy doing it, it's what I love. If somebody asks if money was not an issue, what is it that you would be doing? Well, this is it, because I truly enjoy and I love helping people. I have gifts and talents. I have a skill set in a space that many people would rather avoid. Okay. And so I do love what I do, but at the same time, I'm in pursuit of a profit, even though I still had a full-time job. So just because you may have a full-time job doesn't necessarily automatically cancel out the fact that you're running a business and have them classify it as a hobby. But at the end of the day, it's all about intent. What are your intentions? And are you running a legitimate business and you have it set up like a business? The third thing that I want to throw out to you is whether or not, and I touched on it a little bit already, but whether or not the activity has elements of personal pleasure or recreation. Okay, and again, just because it may have elements of personal pleasure or recreation doesn't mean that it can't be a business. But all things considered, if there's so many other things that you're doing that is not having you set up like a legitimate business, these are some of the things that the IRS will look at when they look at your tax return and look at the expenses or the deductions that you've written off on your tax return to make a determination whether or not you're operating a legitimate business or a hobby. So what are your motives for engaging in an activity? And do they have the appeal of a profit, or are you actually making a profit at any point in time, or are you constantly reporting losses? Listen, you got about 3 good years to report losses on your tax return, especially if you're expensing your lifestyle and you're writing off everything and the kitchen sink, and you're reporting a loss year after year after year. The IRS may be like, hey, hold on a second now. You're going a little bit too far. Is this really a hobby? Is this really a business? Because people are in business to make money. Nobody sets out to run and operate a business to be taking losses. So you have to take that into consideration. I understand and know you hear so many people saying, oh, well, this person doesn't pay taxes and that person doesn't pay taxes. Listen, don't compare yourself to someone else because you don't know all of the facts and circumstances surrounding their situation. If you're going to do a comparison, make sure you do an apple to apples comparison. But, ride in your lane, stay in your lane, do what's right. Do the thing that you know is right and make sure that you do your due diligence, that you do your homework, and you know that this is being done accurately and with integrity. Tried and True Financial Services is established to help entrepreneurs with the ABCs of finance, to simplify your accounting, budgeting, and credit processes. And so we're here to help walk you through this process to make some sense of the complex tax code. And so that's what we're here for. Well, when you set out to run a business, there's a few key people that you need on your team, and an accountant is one of them. So you want to make sure that you're reaching out to a reputable tax accountant to help you comb through this complex tax code to make sure that all of the moving parts that are applicable to you are applied to your situation so that you can file an accurate and timely return, and that you're not just taking the advice, fleeting advice from people that you hear and see out in the marketplace that doesn't necessarily apply to you. But you also want to make sure that you're counting the costs and you have the funds set aside to hire and pay the professionals to make sure that they're keeping you on point with everything. Okay, so those are some of the key things that I wanted to come to you today and share with you. But you want to make sure, don't laugh at me. Yes, I'm trying to help the people today because they need to understand and know when you start a business, when you set up a business, you want to make sure that you can track and you know your numbers, that you're keeping track of your numbers, that i.e. a bookkeeping system. Okay, I often recommend or advise people that if you're not ready and your revenue is not coming in just yet, there's other ways that you can do it starting out, but that's just a quick start kind of a situation. That's not a end all be all. So you want to make sure that you are, before you spend it, every dollar that you make, that you're setting enough aside to adequately operate your business. You want to take your business serious. Your business is serious. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're taking it very serious. Go ahead and preach it. Dr. Mike Lindsay preached in pursuit of a profit. Yes, we are in pursuit of a profit. Yes, and I'll be excited to hear about it. Lisa asks, the IRS says the IRS will, or she stated that the IRS will definitely audit you if you mix business and personal monies. Oh, absolutely, they will. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that just like when you first start your business, you get an EIN number for your business. So your EIN is to your business what your social security number is to yourself. So there's a reason why you get an EIN for your business, because you're setting it up separate. And so because you're setting it up separate, you set it up separate, you set up your business structure, whether you're going to be a LLC or a partnership or S Corp or whatever, that's another topic for another day. Okay, but you want to make sure that you're separating everything and that you're running your business as a legitimate business. Okay, and that's my tax tip for today. It is Tax Tip Tuesday, brought to you by Tried and True Financial Services, again, where our core mission is helping entrepreneurs with the ABCs of finance to simplify your accounting, budgeting, and credit processes. We do offer income tax planning, income tax preparation, budgeting, bookkeeping, and building business credit. So you can go ahead and schedule your free consultation over on our website at www.triedandtruefs.com before the end of the year, because in the end of the year, we're going into a fresh start and we're going to be doing some things a little bit different. So you want to make sure that you get your consultation in, your free consultation in, before the year ends. We also do have a promotion where we can offer 30% off of a QuickBooks software for the first 6 months. Now, if you go up, and you can find that link on our website as well, www.triedandtruefs.com/links, all right? And you can take advantage of that discount code. It's a little bit better than what the discount it would be if you go directly to the QuickBooks website. So go ahead and make sure that you go on over to our website, check some things out, schedule your free consultation, better yet, schedule your service so that you can take care of your business, so that you can make sure that you're dotting all of your I's, crossing all of your T's, and you make sure that the IRS does not try to reclassify your business as a hobby and disallow your deductions. All right. It's been real. Thank you so much for chiming in today. I love you all, and I will see you on next week's segment of Tax Tip Tuesday with Tried and True Financial Services. Have a great night.